Hi, beautiful souls. It's Tan here, back on this Astrology Human Design Jinkies channel. I'm here with my soul sisters, Sarah and Cindy, and today we are going to be doing a mini reading, free mini reading for a very lucky woman out there whose sun is in Aries and moon is in Aries and ascendant or rising sign is in Pisces. So we are going to be taking this reading through the sun, moon, rising, through the three systems. So astrology, human design, gene keys, adding a little bit of the transit of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's happening on April 20th as well. So we're going to begin today's reading by just doing a quick first impression of your sun, moon, and rising. So I'll hand that over to Sarah to do that.
Yes, so this is such an interesting chart when you look at it this way through sun, moon, and rising, because you start with sun and moon and think, wow, that's a lot of Aries energy. That's a lot of like self-assertiveness. So let's just break those down. When we have the sun here in Aries, that's the exaltation of the sun. And so there's a lot of emphasis on this house in this chart. This also means this individual was born just before a new moon because the moon's co-present. So sun is the ideal to which we strive. It can indicate things like legacy, also our relationship with our father. And then this word that keeps coming to me is forms from oh wow, I think that's Plato. So yeah, this ideal to which this individual strives is initiating and this warrior energy, and really like self-assured, because this is the second house of self-worth. And then we have the moon in alignment with that energy too. This moon is also initiating things, moving forward, and this describes the individual's emotions, how they handle their emotions. So this can be, exerting energy to kind of process emotions, doing things very quickly, doing things a little impulsively. Maybe their spending habits are a little impulsive too, but just really great Aries energy. And then two great planets there too, Venus and Mercury, but we won't discuss those too much here today. It was like a lot of emphasis on this person's self-worth. And then we moved to the first house where the ascendant, always is, of course, but then the things that are present there with the ascendant was just like, whoa, that could definitely challenge self-worth. But I feel like this individual is very powerful in understanding the spiritual side of things, because of course their ascendant is in Pisces. So this is a very spiritual, intuitive individual, and that's kind of the lenses through which they see the world and also how they interact with the world. It is a very Piscean, intuitive and understanding kind of way. So that's what I got for first impressions. And just needless to say, those things that it's opposing in the seventh house are also quite
Yeah.
intense. So it really took a little bit of the power away from the second house, but I don't think so. I think that this individual steps into that power. So we'll talk more about that
Yeah, I feel like
now.
this one requires a full reading, including the seventh house in there, but we probably don't have time for that today. Well, thanks, Sarah. Yeah, we are going to go deeper into the human design gates of each of these planets, the sun, moon, and rising. But I just feel like I want to share a little bit about the sun and moon being sort of very close to each other like that in the second house in Aries. And it's a very strong sign, this Aries sign. And I think when you have the sun and the moon, you can say it's conjunct because it's a luminary, so we can actually keep the orbs pretty wide. But with this sort of a little bit looser conjunction of sun and moon, there tends to be a self-assured way of being. Now, there's other things in the chart which can say, okay, maybe other areas of your life you may not be so self-assured in. But actually, when it does come to the self-worth and maybe your confidence with making money, which is a second house, and also self-worth and self-esteem, tends to be something pretty solid there, in a sense that, if in a sense of like, this is how I am, and this is how I like to be, and this is how I'll always be. It kind of be like that type of energy to it, which, can be very a powerful presence, I feel like, to be around with this type of energy. I also do want a presence here that this strong energy that you have here may actually also, when we look at maybe what can be more negative about it is that it may actually sort of prevent you from growth a little bit, because there's this way of like, this is the way I am, and this is the way that other people have to be. And it can be like this energy where it can make you a little bit hard to accept differences in the way that other people are if it's not really making sense to you. So there can be both sides to the particular sun moon conjunction here.
Yeah, I think in general, here with that sun and Aries, I mean, that's pretty fascinating, actually, if we consider it being in the Jinki 21 or in Gate 21 in human design. I mean, Aries brings that natural leadership energy to it. And if we take the human design into consideration, it comes with quite some like the potential for self-regulation, I would say. Kind of like understanding the value that you are bringing to the people, to the community around you, maybe even understanding the resources, basically the community needs, like talking about time, money, basically energy, all the, like, how can we organize people? Like the Jinki 21 or Gate 21 is a great organizer, basically. I mean, you being a projector in general is like you're bringing that managing energy into your purpose, basically. And you should manage it with integrity. I think that's a huge point here as well, with the 21 being connected to the will center here. So you have the ability, I would say, to know who is also responsible and qualified enough to take charge in challenging situations in life, because you come with that leader energy here. And maybe you might even become a natural leader yourself. I could see that here, like, and with that chart for sure. But you should always try to not dominate others. That's what Tan mentioned before. Like, just maybe be content to control those aspects of your life that you can really control and take a hold of, like whether it's being what you want to eat or how you want to behave, what you want to wear, or also just your general attitude towards life, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually an archetype name for this one. I want to bring that in because I think it's really fun. It's on unlockyourdesign.com. And this one, the archetype is called the manager, of course, because it is all about managing resources, delegating things to people, managing people. So it has a really leadership potential associated with it. And I think that the mantra for this one is also what has been given Unlock Your Design, but you can check again. It's something like, I can get through anything. So it has that sort of like willpower of like, I can get through anything because I can weather through the fire. It's kind of that kind of energy. It's like a sword. I think even Richard Rudd writes about this. Like, it's like a sword that has to be forged in the flames. It's the gate of biting through. You know, it's kind of like it endures, and doesn't. It has that valor to it, which is the city of this particular gene key, which we also took here, so you can kind of see the gene key's frequency of it. And I think that this valor is very noble in nature. It's really like, when you're really stepping into it, no pressure can make you fall into the darkness. You know, that kind of makes sense. Like, you do good, and you have this like trustworthy and loyal energy, and people want to give you responsibility because of the energy that you exude. And you uphold that with your nobility by not under pressure, you know, falling into like doing things under the table or corruption and things like that. You don't do that. You have the ability to withstand and kind of keep your nobility with you at all times.
So, do you think that moves us into the transit, or do we want to go through the moon's gene key too and the human design of that?
Yeah. Maybe we can do the moon and then quickly do the ascendant, and then we can move into the transits. So we also have the moon in Aries, of course, which is super cool. So here we have the moon in gate 17, and this archetype is the archetype of the eye. It's the all-seeing eye. It has you have this vision, this sharp vision, like almost like an eagle, that can kind of see ahead of time and can see into the trends of the future based on the trends of the past. So I think that this sun and moon combined can kind of like make you have a really good, like if you were in that managerial position, be type of that boss or that manager that people really trust, because not only because you have nobility, but also because you are able to have a bigger perspective of things. Maybe people trust you and they come to you for advice because they know that you're not going to be subjective. But of course, again, this is the moon. So this is something that you are working with. I think that there can be maybe when you were, let's say, younger, or when you're still working with the themes of this moon, like maybe in the shadow of opinion, which is gonna kind of like, maybe I think I can sense into like, if you are, let's say, leading a leader and you are in the shadow of opinion, then maybe people kind of feel like, oh, they can't really trust you, because if they come to you for advice, you may actually be using like confirmation bias instead of the potential that you have, which is to be very objective about things and seeing things from that bigger perspective.
Yeah, I think with that jinky here, it's always important to consider to be maybe a little bit more playful as well, because we can sometimes get so serious in the opinions we have on specific topics, and to always consider that those opinions that we are forming during our life are mostly coming from what we have experienced as children. And that's for everyone. So then to just give the space for other opinions to enter, and maybe for the question, okay, is that what I am thinking of that topic really true? Or is it maybe only my truth and somebody else's truth could be completely different? To open yourself up for that is always like really magical, actually.
Yeah. And I think clairvoyance is also a really strong theme for this one, because you actually see, like you can actually visually, when you're in the omniscience, city, you can actually like see what might actually happen before they happen. It's tapping into that power. But I think at the gift here, it can also be good at predicting trends, like stock market trends, or just picking up patterns. Like, even when you're doing an astrology prediction, you can pick up these kind of patterns too, and working with numbers in that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we have the ascendant, which is, well, we have it here. It's in Jinky 63, that Pisces ascendant over here, which is actually the same as your Saturn. I think the unconscious Chiron looks like here too. So the archetype for this one with your ascendant on Unlock Your Design is called the detective. So that's very interesting. And I think having that in combination with the eye and the manager kind of just, it's such a badass energy. I don't know. What do you guys think, Sarah and Cindy? I really feel that badass energy with these combinations at play in a sense.
It's interesting how that theme kept coming up in the chart too, like, with all that energy in Aries. So it's just very self-assured and assertive too.
Yeah.
Which is so strange with a Pisces on the ascendant, but then you see the placements in Pisces too. But yeah, I definitely that's a common theme in this chart is badass.
Yeah, I think it's like a chart of somebody that you can never lie to, because they'll always find a way to figure out the truth, right? With that detective energy, it's like it's inquiring and picking up the patterns and putting things together in a sense.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, it's a big advantage to see the patterns, but then sometimes to always come back to, okay, maybe my intuition or my instincts are louder than all the patterns that I'm seeing. I think that's a great, gift to see all the patterns, but never underestimate your own instinct and your own intuition with this one.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the eye too, because what I was thinking was like, when Richard Rudd says the cosmos is seeing itself through you. And so, identifying patterns that are important to this self is different than the whole operating through you. So I think that's something that this individual can tap into really well, is channeling and allowing things to come through.
Yeah, and I think like when you are using the logical part of this chart, which you have that logical energy of, picking up patterns and seeing the truth in things, it's mainly used for like collective purposes. So for things outside. But when it really comes to like relationships and how you feel, like Cindy was saying, it's really more about the emotions and the intuition, which of course you're also emotional by nature, as an emotional projector. So there's that part of you that's like, because this like gene key can also be like suspicious of people, in their lives, when there really is nothing to be suspicious about if you actually use your intuition, right? But the mind can always, come up with questions and find evidence to support. Also, the 17 does that too, like find evidence to support what you think is the truth, but maybe you forget to look at the other, the evidence that kind of goes against that, kind of like that energy. So yeah, it's more like when it comes to relationships and stuff, making sure that you do come back to your body and your emotions, because you are emotional by nature as an emotional projector. All right. I think maybe then that's going to lead us really well into the transit, which is the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's happening on April 20th.
Yeah, so of course we could talk a little bit about the transit first of all, and just common themes of that, with Jupiter being present at expansion. Uranus is going to bring some unpredictability, I guess is probably the best word. And this is right on this individual's natal Jupiter, just about. I mean, it's off by a degree on the orb we like to use for personal charts, but it's still really close. And it's happening in the third house. So all of this talk about how your communities, you're just a leader in these positions, it really might come out here. And what I'm suspecting is it's going to be in this like way where you have doubts about that being the answer, because it's either so simple or, it was right in front of your face the whole time. So that's what I'm sensing from this transit. I don't know what y'all are feeling. But yes, expansion, rebellion, some sort of breakthrough. Because on the collective level, we're seeing this in our money systems, because it's Taurus. So this is technology towards how we do money, and security. Those are kinds of themes that are coming up, even cybersecurity. So whatever it manifests as for this individual in their third house, I think it has something to do with these themes of valor that we've been talking about, where they're stepping up as the person with the simple answer that's actually so profound. It's actually what's that word we like? Elegant.
Yeah, and I think keeping in mind that it is your Jupiter return in a sense too. So really like looking back 12 years ago to see what happened there 12 years ago when you had the other Jupiter return that happened. But this is going to be a little bit more like the unpredictability. So I think that whatever options that you have right now in your life, I think this goes for all of us, like whatever options you have, be open to the fact that maybe your life won't go into any of those options that you thought it would go in, and maybe it would take off in a completely new direction. And this is, of course, with your community, like Sarah was saying, your local community, and the way that you think and your mind, and maybe the types of classes you want to take, and the way that you sort of express yourself. And when I was looking a little bit at your Jupiter and your natal chart, just to see like what kind of themes that is, it does present itself as the pearl in the gene keys. And of course, it's in gate 8 or gene key 8. And that's also kind of telling me a little bit that there is this energy of your authenticity within you. And Uranus is going to bring even more of that here. Gate 8 is already about authenticity. It's really about like having an authentic lifestyle and actually sharing that authentic lifestyle with others, allowing yourself to shine. Don't hide behind anything. Just like be in the front seat and show yourself and show your lifestyle with other people and the authenticity of that. And really like don't copy anybody. I think it's really a time for you to carve your own path in so many ways. And like be your own teacher, be your own guide in a sense. And even if it's wild, even if it's weird, but yeah, it's your time of expansion in that area. And maybe all the luck and the prosperity that you're looking for is going to come your way as well.
Yeah, what I'm sensing into is, even like if we look at your Incarnation Cross, what I just want to mention here is that it's activating kind of like the only channel, if I remember, yes, the only channel that you have in your chart. And there is a lot of abundance hidden in this channel actually, like, and basically it's the abundance of your mind. Like, how much abundance can you create through using your mind, through using your emotions? Because, you know, like, through our thoughts we can actually activate our emotions, our feelings. We can guide them towards the direction of abundance. And so this channel is a deeply melancholic one. So I would suggest you during those times now to really use like those deeper melancholic states for creativity, and to really direct your creativity towards the things you love. And that's going to bring you a sense of achievement and fulfillment. And as you're cultivating that sense within you, you're going to like basically attract it from the outside as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty exciting.
It is, yeah. And I'm also sensing, because this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening in gate 23, right, in human design. So that's going to activate this channel here for you, a channel 4323, because you have that hanging gate 43. So it's going to complete the channel, and it's going to set a theme for the next, I guess, maybe around 14 years until the next Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So there's this theme with this channel of really expressing your inner knowing and your inner truth and your inner voice, in a sense. And yeah, finding a way to bring the inner knowings that you have, maybe the weirdness inside of you, out into the world, like materializing that in the world in a way. So yeah, that's going to be very exciting, and good luck with that. All right, do you guys have anything to add today before we finish off the reading?
No, I just have a general expect the unexpected and roll with that. So
Yeah, I'm really sensing into like just allowing yourself to be weird, with that like freak to genius channel that's being activated for her here. It's like, yeah, I mean, allow the freakiness inside of you to come out and find a genius way to express that freakiness in a sense.
Yes, while you are basically believing in the bigger picture that you are having for yourself and the world
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah, just knowing that this is bringing you into your authority, really being the author of your life with the 21. It's like really writing the story of your life for yourself. All right. Well, that's it for today. We hope that you enjoyed this reading. And if you guys are watching out there and you're interested in getting a trio reading from me, Sarah, and Cindy, where we do something similar to this, but we go deeper into the different other aspects of your chart, then you can visit our website, hyphensoul.com. And yeah, feel free to give yourself a beautiful reading from us. We are always happy and excited to do them for you guys. And yeah, happy Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, everyone. Sending you lots of love today.
Bye.
Bye.